Kimi always been my favorite driver since he started in Formula One. By his character, by the way he has, by his pure racing attitude.
I think that also compared to a young one, he knows exactly where is the performance.
An absolute pleasure to work with him.
It all started as a hobby. I first started on a small motocross bike, and then our dad's friend, his son was driving go-kart, so we went to watch once, and then we got one go-kart for me and my brother to share, and then it came as a hobby after that. Once I went to Formula cars, it all went quite quickly, so I was like, I did a few races in, was it 99 I think? And then we stopped the season and waited for, let's say, a bit stronger team. And then in 2000 I did one full season in Alfa Romeo, and then they managed to somehow convince Sauber actually so to give me a test, and then it went from there.
I wanted to talk with you a little bit about what happened last race, especially during the last parts of the stint, let's say. How did you feel the car in general and the tires? And
Yeah, I think generally they worked as we hoped. I mean, obviously there's always probably we can improve here and there, but I think they work out probably better than, let's say, there was some worries on wear and this and that, but I think especially the second set was the hard tires, they were very good. So.
It was pretty good, yeah. He is a driver that doesn't require many information. However, everything that can make him quicker, he wants the information. So either in practice or if what the other drivers are doing or doing the race strategy. So he's really hungry of having this kind of information.
During the race, he's probably more clever than the computer, that he's able to manage all the situation and to have always the good decision on track, to be always at the right place, and so that to manage the energy, and so he's just amazing.
When I started, everything was very unknown, so but I never really thought it's as a big challenge. I just, I tried to do my stuff, and hopefully it's good enough, and I will survive. So had to pick. I'm sure if I start really spending time and thinking, oh, there was one really difficult moment, I always just try to do my best and not really worrying about too much. I think there's been many challenging situations. I think every weekend is in one way a big challenge. I think we're doing the right things. It's the small things that needs to be always right, and it's in the end making the car faster. I think it's not a massive group of people, but it's a good group of people that works very well. And obviously now the team is a bit in a more healthier place than it was a few years ago, so that gives a lot of help on that side to try to push many areas to be better. Wherever the race is, we have to go and do the best that we can, but I always enjoyed Spa because it's a little bit in the middle of nowhere. It's very old school kind of place. The racing has also one part that the racing always been very good. It doesn't matter the rules or the years, it's been exciting racing always, so some overtake. No matter how hard we F1 in the end, it's all dictated by end results, and then that dictates where you end up in the standings. But I think the most important is that you found generally what works for you. I always stick to that I do things my way, right or wrong. I can at least blame myself if things go wrong. And then little by little you figure out, okay, this kind of training for this thing works best for me, and you know, small things, but then in the end that's the only way. You have to do what keeps you happy and makes you feel good, and I think but you only learn that with experience and with time.
Kimi, my teammate, you know, I remember because when he started in F1, I started to race in karting. It was 2001, and you know, I always, when I was kids, I was always follow F1, and that moment was Schumacher won like races, but also was Kimi there with McLaren. That it was really fast, you know, and now, you know, to have him like my teammate is something really strange, you know, because I was really kids and watching him in McLaren, maybe sometimes support him as well, you know, and now I'm the teammate of him is really strange.
Speed is there for sure, that he was able to do the pole position in Monza last year, to win the Austin the week after, and I think the pace is amazing.
When you are in F1, you don't need to, you know, look another driver and say, oh, really this guy is really amazing, you know, because you are in F1, you are competing with him, and you are one of the 20 drivers in the world. So I'm not focused too much on one driver, but I would say Kimi maybe is one of my, you know, reference, I would say, because he's my teammate, and plus, you know, it was one of the drivers I like. It's more when I was a kid.
The most impressive is that the experience and the understanding of the full weekend and the full picture of the racing.
He's a pure racer. He lives for racing. He lives for the races, and he doesn't need motivation. So I'm here to help him to achieve his goal, to go as fast as possible.
It's important to have someone like Kimi to the team with a huge experience, able to drive a little bit the story.
And we're going to close on both racing and personal. What's behind number 7?
Nothing really. I mean, I had it a year before, and then you have to choose a number. Okay, I keep the same, but there's not really some crazy story behind. I think it's easy to fit in a helmet. My painter said so. He had probably more say on it than me. Some weird reason 7 has over the years come up many times in whatever the number of a house or whatever it is, but there's not really, oh, you had to be this, you know.